Toby Emmerich is an American producer, film executive, screenwriter, and the current chairman of the Warner Bros. Pictures Group. Despite his successful tenure at New Line Cinema before taking over control of Warner Bros., his decisions at Warner Bros. Have been questionable and costly to its parent company, WarnerMedia, citing multiple trade reports from Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, and The Wrap. This is why Toby Emmerich is unfit to lead Warner Bros.
Can you introduce me as Joker?
In 2016, director Todd Phillips conceived Joker, a psychological thriller based on the popular DC villain, weaving an alternate origin story for the character. Former Warner Bros. Pictures Group president of worldwide marketing Blair Rich was a huge fan of what Phillips came up and pushed to greenlight the project. However, film studio chief Emmerich was not a fan of the project. Emmerich lowballed on the budget to discourage director Todd Phillips from making it, and when Todd Phillips persisted, Emmerich sold off half the movie to Braun Creative and Village Roadshow Pictures. However, Joker then became a cultural phenomenon that grossed more than $1 billion worldwide, was honored with 11 Academy Award nominations and an Oscar for Joaquin Phoenix. But because Toby Emmerich sold off half the movie, Warner Bros. Didn't get to reap all the profits, but instead had to split it between the joint companies. Interestingly enough, Blair Rich, one of the major players that supported the Joker, was soon pushed out of the company in November of 2020, with a few words of support from Toby Emmerich.
All I have are negative thoughts.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to.
In May of 2017, Zack Snyder stepped down from Justice League to deal with a family tragedy. Joss Whedon took over and extensively reshot or recut the movie to what fans call the Justice League today. But many may have forgotten the promise that Toby Emmerich was quoted in The Hollywood Reporter. He said, "The directing is minimal, and it has to adhere to the style and tone and the template that Zack set. We're not introducing any new characters. It's the same characters in some new scenes. He's handing the baton to Joss, but the course has really been set by Zack. I still believe that despite this tragedy, we'll still end up with a great movie." AT&T and Time Warner were currently in the middle of a $85 billion deal that we're hoping would close by the end of the year. One source told The Wrap that Warner Bros. CEO Kevin Tsujihara and President Toby Emmerich wanted to preserve their bonuses they would be paid before the merger, and were worried that if they pushed the Justice League movie, then their bonuses would have been pushed to the following year, and they might not still be at the studio. The 2017 Justice League ended up being a critical and financial disaster, in part of the forced changes to the movie, and that Warner Bros. Rushed it out to theaters to preserve both Kevin Tsujihara's and Toby Emmerich's bonuses. The differences between 2017's Justice League and 2021's Zack Snyder's Justice League are night and day. Not only did Toby Emmerich lie about Joss Whedon and how minimal the additions would be, he also had final cut privileges as well. In a recent interview with Zack Snyder, apparently Warner Bros. Has never even seen his cut till 2019. In February of 2020, WarnerMedia announced the creation of Warner Max, a streaming film label that would create movies exclusively for the service, control of which was to be shared by Warner Bros. Pictures Group Chairman Emmerich and HBO Max Chief Content Officer Kevin Riley. Bob Greenblatt, Chairman of WarnerMedia Entertainment and Director to Consumer, added, "Since I got here 14 months ago, the chant to release the Snyder Cut has been a daily drumbeat in our offices and inboxes. Well, the fans have asked, and we are thrilled to finally deliver. At the end of the day, it really is all about them, and we are beyond excited to be able to see and release Zack's ultimate vision for this film in 2021. This could never have happened if it weren't for the hard work and combined efforts of the teams at HBO Max and Warner Bros. Pictures. During their tenure, Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Reilly sought to bolster HBO Max by dramatically upping the number of original series WarnerMedia commissioned, while also pursuing a number of one-off, headline-grabbing events. They signed up such projects as much-demanded cast reunion of Friends, and committed to restore the so-called Snyder Cut of the superhero film Justice League in response to fan clamor. Toby Emmerich had a different idea. Not wanting to spend another dime on Justice League, he asked Zack Snyder to release Justice League in its current form, unfinished. Zack Snyder, of course, said no. Instead, Zack and Debbie pitched Justice League as an original series for HBO Max. Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Reilly loved the ideas and said yes, investing $70 million into the Snyder Cut. In May, the Snyder Cut was officially announced and was originally going to be reworked as a major original series exclusive to HBO Max, complete with an opening for each part, drawing week after week of excitement and hype. But suddenly, in August of 2020, Kevin Reilly and Bob Greenblatt were pushed out of WarnerMedia amid a large-scale reorganization. In a new arrangement announced in October of 2020, Toby Emmerich was given full control of original films and oversaw rollout to either theatrical releases of streaming premieres, including HBO Max. Zack Snyder was then relentlessly assaulted by Warner Bros. With notes to take out Darkseid, remove Green Lantern, and change it to more of a cul-de-sac. Snyder was able to fight back, but unfortunately had to make some compromises as well. Ultimately, Zack Snyder's Justice League was a critical and streaming success, widely celebrated by critics and fans alike.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
So this is the famous Suicide Squad.
Antonio Soprano. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Toby Emmerich was a key player in Warner's surprise December move to put the studio's entire 2020 slate of films on the HBO Max streaming service the same day they opened in theaters. The studio faced major backlash, including rebukes from directors Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve. Sources say Warner's wrote big checks to some of those who had movies affected by the decision, such as Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves. For some talent reps, resentment lingers. Unfortunately, Zack Snyder's Justice League was turned back into a one-time 4-hour film to compete with the same-day movie premieres. One could argue that the same-day premieres, such as Godzilla vs. Kong, was strategically placed to take the attention away from Zack Snyder's Justice League. The same-day movie premieres also lessened the need for new original content over on HBO Max, including the Snyderverse.
You ready to play?
There's $200 million in the vault beneath the strip. This should be a simple in and out.
It's not too late to go back.
Toby Emmerich was allegedly not interested in ever making Army of the Dead. For years, the idea languished in development at Warner Bros., but instead of exploring this potential zombie franchise, Warner Bros. Decided to sell the project off allegedly for quote-unquote pennies. Then Netflix stepped up to stake the project, as the streamer tends to do so. We were in a meeting at Netflix, and I was talking about some of these scripts I was working on, Snyder recalls, and I mentioned the idea to Netflix head of original films, Scott Stuber, and he was like, "That is the movie. Go write that movie and let's make it." I was like, "What, do you mean now?" And he's like, "Go write it tomorrow and we'll shoot it in a week." Netflix released Army of the Dead on May 21st, hitting #1 in every country, garnering overall positive reviews and praise from critics and fans all over the world. Netflix was so excited for Zack Snyder's project that they even gave him a chance to grow the property into a Netflix franchise, complete with a prequel film and an anime series. This new and booming Army of the Dead franchise could have belonged to Warner Brothers, but alas, they gambled wrong.
When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough to count. When the deal is done.
With 18 months left on his contract, is Warner's film studio chairman Toby Emmerich exploring job opportunities? While it is far from clear that Emmerich will leave the studio after more than 20 years, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that David Geffen in recent weeks placed a call to Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos to inquire whether there might be a possible role for Emmerich at Netflix. Netflix said, no thanks. It is clear that Toby Emmerich was wrong about Joker, Justice League, same-day movie premieres, Army of the Dead, and possibly countless of other decisions as well. With the WarnerMedia Discovery merger finalizing, who knows where Toby Emmerich will be headed? One hopes for the sake of the future of DC and the success of WarnerMedia, Emmerich will be the one pushed out the door.
Toby must be moving on.